The movie begins with a scene in town where there was a festival day, which everyone was celebrating. The name of this festival was Thanksgiving. The town's sheriff comes to his friend's house and meets her and her husband. He had also brought a gift for them, which her friend likes a lot. She brought him inside so that he could have dinner with them. Sheriff's friend's husband was a mart manager. His boss, the mart owner, calls him to work, on which his family was very angry, because today was a holiday, and he was still going to take work from him. Now we were shown the mart owner, who was a very big businessman. He had put up a sale at his mart on the occasion of Thanksgiving. That's why people were standing outside the mart and waiting impatiently. The mart owner was eating very comfortably in his house. Here his daughter Jessica was also present with her friend. So her friends came there to pick her up. That's why she comes with her friend Bobby and sits in their car. These people decide to go to Jessica's dad's mart, so that they can see what the situation there is. When they reach there, Jessica meets her college fellow, who liked her. Now, because Jessica was the daughter of the mart owner, she and her friends are sent inside. The people standing outside felt very bad about this, especially a boy and a woman. They were speaking with a lot of anger. They knocked down the barrier gate there, so that all the people started entering. Suddenly, chaos ensued in an instant, and now people start picking up all the stuff, as if it is free. In this rush, a lot of people fall and die. To get the stuff, these people had gone so crazy that they didn't care who was dying and who was alive. The sheriff's friend was also pushed, so that she fell down. Her head burst badly. So much blood flowed that she died on the spot. When Bobby went to help an injured man, someone put his foot on his hand. His hand broke, so that the poor man himself was injured. After this, the story is shown a year later. It was Thanksgiving. Everyone was very scared. They felt that Jessica's dad would put up the sale again. And just like last year, this year too, a massacre would start. People would be ended in the greed of things. Jessica's friend made a video and put it on the internet, which became very famous. But Jessica's dad was not going to stop yet. He decides to open the mart again and put up the sale, so that he can earn more money. But like the rest of the people, Jessica didn't want this either, having witnessed individuals perishing right before her eyes at the mart. And that woman, who was the most angry last year, she had now become a waitress, where she is told by the sheriff that a new deputy is coming to this town. And now when the deputy comes here, he starts looking at a mask lying there. Then the waitress tells him that this is the mask of our town's first governor, whose name was John. He was a very good person, so everyone respected him a lot. In his memory, everyone puts on his mask on Thanksgiving Day. Now when Jessica was with her friends, they get a notification. When they check it, they see that a person named John has sent a notification to all of them. And he has tagged all his friends. He has sent a picture of a table, on which all their names were written. Now he thought that maybe someone was joking with us. That's why everyone ignores this thing. When Jessica sees outside, there was a man standing there wearing Governor John's mask, who was staring at her. But the next moment, he disappears from there. At night, when the waitress started closing the door, who was angry on the day of the sale, she sees John's mask there. She started thinking, who could this mask belong to? That's when the killer comes wearing John's mask. He attacks the waitress. He first puts water on her face. Then he sticks her face with the fridge. After that, he goes to take his axe, so that he can kill her. But in the meantime, the waitress frees herself and starts running away from here, but the killer sees her. The waitress tries to hide in the dustbin there, but the killer sits in the car and hits her with the car. This causes 2 parts of the waitress's body and she dies there. After doing this, he puts half of her body on the mart's building to instill fear in people. First of all, the waitress makes the woman a victim who was angry on the day of the sale, and came the most in the video. That is, she pushed a lot of people to get free stuff. When the police found out about this, they come here to investigate. They saw the CCTV footage, but because everyone in town wore a mask on Thanksgiving, they couldn't find out who the killer was. Seeing this, Jessica calls her dad and says, "Dad, you shouldn't open the mart now, because a woman has been murdered." Her dad says nothing will happen. I will keep extra security, but I will open the mart anyway, on which Jessica and her friend get very scared. Then they find a weapons dealer and he says, if you want guns or any other weapons, you can buy it from me. Now Jessica and her friend go to the police station. They start telling them that according to us, the killer is ending those who were involved in the last massacre. On this, Sheriff asks Jessica that if you think so, then bring us the video footage of that massacre. Because I know that your dad will have it. This will make us know whose life is in danger. So we will inform them in advance. Then Jessica gets ready to help them. When she comes out, she meets Bobby. She tells him that all of us are in danger. So all of us have to stay together, so that the killer can't reach us. Now at night, the killer went to a guard's house, who saw the crowd of people that day and ran away from the mart. The killer removes his head with a sharp knife, which leads to his terrible death. Then he puts his severed head in the bag, and takes it with him. The next morning, the killer again tags all his friends, and sends them the same post, which was nothing but the severed head of the guard, which was kept on the same table where all these friends' names were written. This made everyone very nervous, because they understood that the killer would end us too. The police investigate a lot, but still, they can't find out who the killer is. Now Jessica, from her dad's laptop, sends the video footage of the massacre to the sheriff secretly. Then Sheriff tries to find out whose life is in danger, and who is safe. In one picture, they see Jessica's friend, who was hugging the same guard who died now. Seeing this, they feel that Jessica's friend's life is in danger too. And that killer goes to a gym trainer who was also there that day. Gym trainer's friend was a cheerleader who calls him to her, and starts jumping on the jumping pad. But then the killer twists the gym trainer's neck. His nose started bleeding and that's when he died. When his friend cheerleader was jumping, the killer stabs her with a sharp knife. Her body cuts into 2 parts and she also dies painfully. After this incident, the college was closed, while Jessica's 2 friends are told to stay in the college. When they were alone, the killer kidnaps them. Then he goes to Jessica. He was about to catch her, but then she runs away. She goes and hides in the makeup room, which the killer starts looking for everywhere. But as he comes near the makeup room, Jessica sprays him and starts running away. Upon hearing her scream, the police promptly came to her rescue. In this way, the killer can't kill Jessica. Now when Bobby and Jessica's class fellow found out that the killer had tried to attack her, they both come to meet her, but here they both start fighting. Jessica stops them and tells them to stay away from her. Jessica's friend goes to the weapons dealer and buys him a gun so that he can protect himself. Now the killer enters Jessica's friend's house. He first ends the security guard. But when his dad sees the killer, he also shoots him and ends him. Only Jessica's friend was left alive, to whom her friend video calls. He asks her, "Are you okay?" Now I'm at the place where they say yes, I'm fine. You don't worry about me. During the call, the killer comes from behind and stabs a nail in her ear, causing her to bleed. So she starts running away. Her friend saw all this on the video call. So he immediately came to his friend's house to save her life. But the killer puts the knife on her neck. Killer shows that their friend is in custody. After which he drops the girl on a blade. Her body turns into 2 pieces and that's where she dies. Seeing all this, Jessica's dad decides that now I will not open the mart, because so many people were dying there, and her daughter's life was also in danger. Sheriff advises them that we should participate in the Thanksgiving function, because there will be a lot of crowds there. The killer will definitely come there, and we'll grab him, for which everyone agrees. The next day, when they were at the function, the killer really comes here. He cuts a man's neck and ends him. Then he starts throwing smoke bombs there, scaring everyone to run away. There is chaos everywhere. After which the killer faints Jessica, her friend, and her mom and dad, and kidnaps them too. When Jessica's mom opens her eyes, she finds herself lying on the table. She sees that the killer is preparing a sauce by mixing some spices. Now the killer started applying oil all over her body, so that he could apply the sauce and marinate it, because he wanted to roast Jessica's mom when he went to get his second mask. Jessica's mom freed herself and started running away from there. When he does not find her on the table, he starts looking for her everywhere with a fork. Jessica's mom goes to hide in the freezer room, but the killer had already kept the cheerleader's body there. Seeing what she was afraid of and began to run, but the killer had already seen her. He hits her with a fork from behind and injures her first. Then puts her in the oven. He turns on the oven at full heat. Jessica's mom starts roasting and like this, she also dies terribly. Now the killer started making his live video, in which he had imprisoned Jessica and those people. Then he puts everyone on the table. The police reached there after seeing the location of the video. But they see that there is nothing here. Actually, the killer had put the wrong location. He was playing a game with all of them. Now he makes a second live video. He brings the food in front of Jessica and the rest of the people. Which was nothing but Jessica's mom's roasted corpse. Which everyone got scared and started screaming. The killer tells them the idea. Selling and giving free things was Jessica's mom's. That's why I roasted her and did this. And now you will have to eat her flesh. During the conversation, Jessica frees herself, and her friend had also freed himself. Now, both of them started running from there. The killer starts chasing her. He starts hitting Jessica's friend, which hurts him a lot. Then he goes to Jessica, who had crossed the net and gone that way. That means she ran away from here. When she reaches ahead, she finds the sheriff unconscious there. When she goes into the building, she sees Bobby, who was removing the John mask. That's why Jessica understands that Bobby is the killer who is ending everyone. When the sheriff wakes up, he comes to Jessica, and she tells him, Bobby is doing all this. Hearing this, sheriff starts shooting him, which Bobby runs away from here. The police go to catch him, while the rest are saved. Sheriff tells Jessica that we couldn't save your friend and mom. But your dad and other friends have been saved and sent to the hospital. Soon they will be fine. And now Jessica sees dirt on Sheriff's shoes. She was shocked because she understood that the killer was not Bobby, but the sheriff, the one who chased me in the forests. Sheriff also found out that Jessica has found out my truth. That's why he tells her that you shouldn't have gone to the jungle alone. Saying this, Sheriff closed the door, and now he goes ahead to end Jessica. She asks Sheriff, why did you do this? Then Sheriff tells her that I have been alone all my life. I got the hope of love, who was my friend. She and I loved each other very much. She was going to leave her husband and marry me soon. But because of your dad's sale, suddenly she fell down and she died. This made me alone again. That's when I decided that I wouldn't leave anyone. No one could doubt me, so I started ending everyone wearing John's mask. So that I could take my revenge. As soon as he finished, Jessica showed him the phone. And thanked him. Then she told him that I recorded live what you just said. Everyone finds out that you're the real killer. Seeing this, the sheriff finds it bad and he moves to kill her. And that's when Bobby came and saved her. He took Jessica and ran away. They sat in the truck and left. When they came to a place, Jessica started filling gas in a big balloon so it can be blown. As soon as Sheriff came to end them, Jessica shot at the gas balloon, which caused an explosion and fire. Sheriff got burned in it, which made them think that he might have died too. After that, the police came here and started looking. The firemen, after extinguishing the fire, began to go from there. When they asked, the firemen told the officer that they didn't find anything other than ashes. This didn't confirm that the sheriff was dead or alive. When Jessica was sleeping at night, she had a dream where she thought that sheriff was hiding in her closet. But when she went to see the closet, there was no one there. But the real thing was that the sheriff was still alive. When the fire was being extinguished, a fireman was running who was no one else but the sheriff. And with this horrific ending, the movie concludes. I hope you have liked this movie recap. Please like, share and subscribe for real recap.